Welcome everybody to another episode of the Up and In Show. We're leaving it. We're rolling. But I'm here in Cards and Culture, not on the purple couch because I have two guests on the purple couch. Kerri Bourgeois.
What's up, guys?
Look at that, waving at the camera. And Jill Jones, let's go.
What's up?
So you guys usually know, if you guys are listeners, thank you guys first and foremost. If you guys are subscribers, thank you guys. But usually I have Kristen with me and Kerri. Those are my two head trainers over at F45. But we have somebody new into the gym. You just passed your,
By the grace of God, my fitness certification, I just passed it.
NASM?
Like 2 weeks ago, NASM.
NASM, yeah, that's like a badass one. I think so.
Hard.
That's what I heard. It's a harder one, yeah.
Is that
but
the one you did?
It. Huh?
Did you do NASM?
Yeah, NASM. That's the upper echelon.
Yeah.
That's the high tier, you know? That's the best of the best. And that's what you are. So we appreciate you being here. And I'm excited to kind of introduce you a little bit to everybody. You know, a lot of the members listen to these podcasts because it's a cool way to kind of get to know the trainers a little bit, but also a little bit more about our workouts, what we're doing, planning, because in the gym, you know, people are in there for 45 minutes. They only get 10 minutes before and after the class. So we're going to dive in. We're going to get some shit on Jill Jones. Let's go. No. All right. So you're born in Baton Rouge, right?
I'm born here, yep.
All right,
well, I moved to, yes, I was born here, but I didn't live here when I was born here.
Oh, no.
So my dad was coaching, but my mom's from here, so she wanted to be in Baton Rouge to have me. So she had me here. We lived in Texas. I moved back here in 7th grade with my dad's job, and I've been here ever since.
Got you. And your dad's in coaching, right? So we got to talk about that a little bit. I feel like some people in Baton Rouge might know the name and stuff like that, but
yeah. So my dad's Johnny Jones. He coached at LSU from 2012 until I think 2017, 5 years, and then I stayed my senior year. I graduated 2018. Then I stayed to go to LSU.
Gotcha. That had to have been a little hard doing that.
I know.
It was very hard.
Yeah.
That was probably, I say hardest time for me, but you know, life went on. But it was a tough time for sure. It was definitely the first time I felt like an uncontrollable sadness because it was something I couldn't control. But we moved on.
That's it. That's what life's about. We always move on, right?
Yeah.
Ups and downs, all that. But do you consider yourself a Baton Rouge native?
Yeah, like when we're at the Tiger Stadium and I'm like singing, I'm from Louisiana, people are like, no, you're not. but I for sure am. Like, I definitely consider myself from here. It's on my birth certificate. And then 7th grade through like high school and college, I think is like when you remember most things. Right. So like I would say that my whole life was spent here. But
how was it like growing up before you moved to Baton Rouge? Did your parents always say, you are technically from Baton Rouge, or
yeah, actually.
It's like
and I spent all holidays here.
Okay.
But I mean, life was a lot different before I got here just because like I spent all my life obviously being a coach's kid, but like being a coach's kid where I was and then being a coach's kid here, it was like my mindset was the same, but the way other people see you is like
different.
Insanely
Where was he
different.
before here?
He was at Alabama and then he was at University of North Texas in Dallas. Well, Denton.
When you say different there compared to here, what do you mean?
Like coach's kid wise?
Yeah.
I mean, in Baton Rouge, like it's everybody's life. And like it's legit mine.
Yeah.
Like it's not actually people's lives that watch it or like tweet about it all the time, but like it legit is our life when we are in that world. And I mean other coaches' kids know, but or just families. But you know, like I'm 17 going on Twitter and like it's constant, like, we hate Johnny Jones, this and that. And, like, a lot of times social media is, like, my escape. Mm-hmm. And so for a long time it wasn't. And, like, I had to delete a lot of stuff. And I'm very vocal. Like, I really hate.
To defend Dad.
Yeah. I hate when anybody's talking bad about anybody I love. Like, so that was a really hard time for me just because I couldn't be on social media because I would say something. But, and I'm 17. Like, it sucked. But, and, like, once we're in Texas, it wasn't about that, you know. It's always a family environment whenever you're when you're in a coaching world. But my dad has always done very well. Like in Texas, he did very well, and he's never been fired. So like me being at LSU was the first time my dad was ever fired, which is actually uncommon for a lot of coaches' kids. So I never experienced my dad being fired until we're here, and that's when. So I guess the main reason it was different was because all the success in Texas. And then it was a lot of successful years here, and then just that one, you know, year will scar you.
Right.
And it's kind of crazy because like I'm a basketball fan, and like I love your dad. I thought he was a great coach, and it's like it's a shame that when certain things unfold, right, and there might be a bigger story and things behind the scenes, and the media portrays things, right, and like you said, it's out of your control. So how do you learn how to deal with that at such a young age?
I mean, I don't even know if I would say I learned. I think I had to grow up very fast just because, you know, it is our lives. My dad he understood that it's part of it. I didn't. I'm like, no, it's not.
Like, no, you're the coach at LSU.
Yeah, like in my world, it wasn't part of it. But I mean, I guess. And then I went to a high school on LSU's campus, like middle school through high school. So it's all their parents' lives. Not lives. I'm not going to say that, but it's all you talk about, really.
That was my next question. I'm like, that's got to be hard because you never get away from it at
Yeah,
U-High,
it's all you talk about. And then, I don't know, I felt like going home was more so my escape. Like, people would think opposite, but I was more comfortable at home. My dad is, like, the goofiest person I know, so it wasn't ever like we're at home sad. Of course, I was always upset about it, but at home it was a whole different environment than going to school. It was kind of awkward because, like, I was there for that reason. Like, the reason I'm in Baton Rouge is because, like, you're Johnny Jones's daughter. Yeah. But then, like, or you're the LSU basketball coach's daughter, then all of a sudden you're not. So then I just had to figure out who I was for a long time. But
I know we talked about it last week or something. We were talking about just your identity, and when you have that, will be part of your identity,
right?
You know,
forever.
which is I think amazing that, you know, you're a part of that, but also you're your own person too, and you said that too, and you want people to know Jill as Jill, not Jill, Johnny Jones's daughter.
Right. Yeah, and I had a talk with Kerri about that because through high school, middle school, I mean, anywhere I go, even just people that know, most people just know. So whether I'm, like, going to a friend's house, usually they tell their parents, like, oh, this is Johnny Jones's daughter. And I mean, like, I'm a liked person, but I think that puts it a little bit over the top, you know, like you're exceptional or, like, whatever. But I told Kerri, being at F45, obviously this is, like, my first, say, big girl job, but, like, a place where I'm there for me. Yeah. And, like, all the people loved me from the jump, and at least I think most of them did. So all of them loved me, and then no one knew, though. Like, I didn't come in and, you know, it was Johnny Jones's daughter that's working there. It was more so, you know, I got to be myself and let people love me, and then that's just a plus. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like that's why I came there. People love me because of who my dad is, but they got to love me. Then they, I guess, love me more, or maybe don't love me more. But it was the first place I got to, I guess, like, be myself, and that was enough.
Did you ever feel like almost like a little added pressure on you because you are Johnny Jones's daughter?
Just through life?
Yeah, like in everyday life. Like, oh, man, I am Johnny Jones's daughter. Like, I gotta.
You missed her face. You should have seen her face.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I guess in, like, middle school, I didn't care, but it was weird too because it's been my life, so I don't think much of it. But when I was playing volleyball, or, like, when I go to my brother's games, you can kind of hear people be like, oh, that's the basketball coach's kids or something. And I'm just like, I'm just here. Like, I'm just trying to hang. But I think I felt more pressure from maybe not wanting to mess up because everybody knew who I was. And then it was very easy for my dad to find out anything I did.
Right.
So, like, I was a good kid, but there was more pressure in not messing up. Just
your life's under a microscope too. Like, that's the thing is, like, you have no room for error. You have to be this certain straight line, right, and do all this stuff. So that's why I how old are you?
22.
22. I think the personality that you have, like, and the thing that you said, like, of come to the gym, people getting to know, I don't think people care. Like, even when you tell them, like, I don't, like.
No, it's so strange. Like, they do. I mean, it's not that, I'm not going to say they don't care, but it's not something that's like, oh, that's why I like you. And I felt that kind of, I won't say I felt that my whole life, because my dad and I have had long talks about that, but it is something that usually makes people like you more. And I think that, you know, I've had probably the same personality my whole life. I think I'm more myself now that it's not something forced. Like, in high school, a lot of friendships weren't forced, but, you know, people like you for one reason. And then being at the gym, like I said, I think it was eye-opening for me to be able to be myself and be able to hang with you.
And that confidence and love that you get from people when you break free of an identity. So, like, I feel like I can compare, right? So when I or at least understand a little bit, not the same situation, but I played baseball for my whole life, and I was a baseball player. That was my identity, right? At 28 years old, all of a sudden I was stripped. And I remember little things that I'm, like, walking down the street, or if I'm working out, I'm, like, the insecurity that I would have of, like, oh, I used to play baseball, and, like, are people still going to fuck with me? Like, are they still like me? Am I still attracted? Like, no joke, I'm not fucking around. I think when I was done with baseball, I actually, and I'm not tooting, I'm just being real, like, I actually had confidence for, like, the first time in my life of, like, oh, I'm actually a good looking dude, versus I thought people liked me because I played baseball. You know what I'm saying? Right. I was just attractive because of that. You know what I'm saying? It was like, so what I'm saying is once you start receiving this love for outside of what your identity has been your whole life, you're like, holy fuck, it opens up this whole new confidence. And that's what I'm so excited to do. Why I push you even on the intros. I'm like, dude, just say what's like, people love you, I promise. And it's going to like, but it's going to be time. That's why I'm like, you're 22, you got time. You're going to figure this shit out. Like,
and I
figure
guess
that out until I was 29, you know?
Like the confidence too, with me being young, like people love me in the gym, but it's also my first time where older people, I guess, look up to me. Like I've never ever thought that would be a thing, or I never thought it would feel the way it feels. But usually I'm like listening to you, and you're older than me, so like I feel like I look up to you. But like I'm the youngest in the gym, and I'm like telling people what to do. So I'm like, am I supposed to say this, or like?
I told her I started off in the fitness world at her age. Yeah, and the reason why I know a lot of people in Baton Rouge is because of those years, like Heather Bush and Allison, all the, you know, that crew. And I'm loving seeing her this young starting off, and I can kind of like both of us guide her to who we know your potential is. And I'm like, use it. I don't care if you're 21, 22 years old. You're the boss when you're up there. You are. The person that you're listening to is you. And
it's a humbling experience.
Yeah.
And I've always been so confident. Like growing up, I've been very athletic. Like I can do, like I've always, you know, been confident in the gym, or like when I played sports, talking in front of people. I didn't even know I couldn't. And then I did.
Until you do it, you're like,
and then I did, and I'm like, I'm actually about to throw up. I actually had no clue that I couldn't.
You got to do it. I felt like you would never think that is exactly how it was.
And even my friends, like,
I was the opposite. I'm like, I got this. And then I got up there and my heart I'm like, oh, give me the iPad.
Well, I thought I could. Like, whenever I was first working out there and, like, seeing you do it. And I think, too, it's more so just obviously me being in my head, you know. But no one's really paying that close of attention to, or, like, waiting on you to mess up.
Right.
But in my head, I'm just... It's humbling.
It is.
And
you also, go ahead.
No, it's one day at a time. You just start now. You got to remember that. Like, take it, learn every single day. You're going to get better and better and better. A year from now, you're going to look back and say, dang, why was I never nervous, you know?
And also, you got to remember, too, like the things you're creating in your mind are in your mind. They're not in other people's mind. Right. People see you way different than you see yourself. You see your insecurities, your flaws, your weaknesses, because you're with yourself every day. You know what I'm saying? You know it. Other people don't. They see Jill Jones, this beautiful, smart, strong woman that is now a certified trainer and has hours of training that I'm talking like a member, right? Like that I've never had. So you're the expert. It doesn't matter if they're 48 years old. That's what they're paying for. They're paying the money for you, that you went to class and you know how to do a squat and push from, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. So that's why I'm like, yo, say this shit, own it. You got it.
Yeah, and I guess too, like I've always just done it. Like I started lifting and stuff maybe in like 2019-ish. And so like I've always just done it. And just like athletic wise, I'm pretty good when it comes to form and, you know, like correcting what I do on my own, but telling other people to do it is a whole different ball game.
Coaching that's what the same with baseball for me. Like I don't coach because I'm not good at communicating to kids of like what to do. I'm like, I don't know, just do it. Like throw the ball. Like, you know, like I just wasn't ever good at communicating that. I've gotten way better, I think, in the gym because I've learned a lot about my body and things like that. So I can now give better, more like focused instruction. But with baseball instruction, I'm like, I struggle with that. Yeah.
I always tell her, I'm like, I think the beauty of the fitness world, and especially when you're starting off this young, you don't have to be perfect. Even though you're the spotlight, I think being able to communicate through the members, like, oh, this movement was tough for me. Like I have to go to my knees. That is like, every member's eyes are going to open up big.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like I always say, like, hey, if you really did struggle with this movement, or if you're teaching someone, I always like dumb it down, right? When you're coaching someone, and she's already going up, up every time I see her train.
First time.
But I'm telling you, every time you just got to think, okay, how can I explain this in the most simple form as if I was teaching myself?
Yeah. And I think I have like, I'm not going to say a gift, but I'm pretty good at making other people. No. Like I'm good at making other people feel good. So doing it in a way of making sure that no one likes to be corrected, I don't think. But I mean, some people do. But I think that I'm still learning how to do it. Like I'm goofy. I feel like my love language is just like making people laugh or like hanging with people and whatever. But actually having to correct people in not a goofy way, but like making it my own of, you know, I'm correcting you, but we're still best friends. Like, I don't know. It's a strange thing of like being the boss of people that
you gotta find your little ick. Remember I told you, like,
make it my own.
I have a way of training. Kristen has a way of training. Nicole has a way. We all different. You have to find what Jill, what type of training you are.
Yeah. And you know what? That's what, like, when you're 22 and we're way older than you, we've had a lot more reps in this shit than you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's going to take you some time to talk to members and be like, and the biggest thing too is like, I think one of the skill sets that you have too, and you'll pick this up, I think just being around Kerri and Kristen and all this stuff, is you cater to the individual. Yeah, you have your style of coaching and stuff like that, and you always stay consistent with that, but you can also maneuver and manipulate different things for the person, right? Maybe some people do like to be pushed more or not, and you back off, you add on. So you'll figure that out just by reps of like getting to know the members and be like, oh, this person wants me to kind of like challenge them a little bit, or this person doesn't want any fucking instruction until the class is over, you know? Like, the
reason why I'm like super pumped about her, she has the look, the vision. Like, you know how I tell you, you can walk in a room, you can feel it. You're like, all right, today we're going to put on this kind of music and we're going to keep it low key.
The vibe.
She feels it. Like, and that's hard. You can't teach that. That's just something you like have. So a compliment to you, and you just got to keep rolling with that. You have to use it as your advantage. I always tell you, like, hey, there's going to be some members you cannot mess with.
Or like sometimes at the 8:30 is the squad, but sometimes I'm like, the vibe's off. Right. Yeah. Like the vibe will definitely be off, but.
Yeah. But having feelings for that and feelings for people and picking up, that is something you can't teach. It's something that's it's a special quality. So,
and everybody expresses their insecurities differently too, right? So some people are gonna like front and project, and other people are just gonna melt. You know what I'm saying? And like, so it's interesting to figure that stuff out and who they are, and then remember it, and then build them up through the insecurities. You know what I'm saying? Like and I think that's that's the experience that we offer at F45. You know, it's like we're not just a cookie cutter trying to take your money in and out the door. We're like trying to get to know the members and do that kind of stuff and make it a better experience.
Absolutely, and I would love for her to go deep into this on why because speaking of getting to know, I think the reason why we have all connected with the members is because we get personal with them. We tell them our story, like where I'm from, how I grew up. People know my background with fitness and from where I started when I was your age to now, and people love to hear that, even the dark parts and the good parts. And you were kind of going into it the other day, and I was like, you should wait to do it whenever we talk next week about why you started, kind of what was your kind of like the gas and the fire, and kind of like remember I told you had the opposite, more like your transition. I would love for you to talk about it if you want.
I'll share mine after too.
Okay, it's it's not long, but there's like so many different pieces to it. I think I had like a really bad year. So like 2017, that's when my dad was fired. Then I stayed for my senior year. So he probably left like that summer of 2017. Then like that September, my friend died. And so then after that, I'm in a horrible relationship. We break up. I find out my cousin was killed. And then my parents left. So like I decide to stay at LSU, and this is my first time obviously ever without my parents. So it's a transition, but since my mom's from like Baton Rouge, I know people, so I had family, but she leaves, my cousin passes away, and I'm like, it was like an uncontrolled, it was all different pains that like I couldn't change. Like it was all permanent. Like, you know, you can usually like change your circumstance, but like my cousin passed away, my friend passed away, my parents were gone. I felt alone, but like I wasn't. And so I had to figure out like what I was going to do, because I was on anxiety medicines, therapy. It was a bad year, but I figured that I tried so many things that other people could help me. Like I could be fixed by a doctor, a therapist. You know, my friends were great always, but like at some point I realized there was really nothing that could change besides me. So like obviously that's when I turned to the gym, and it was a lot. To this day, it's still weird to think that I did all that kind of, I guess, by myself, but that's when I started to lift. When I first went to the gym, it was just like, I'm just run on the treadmill for like an hour and just like
just get your zone. Clear my head.
I'm starting to gym. I'm gonna go in the cardio machine.
Like go run and then bike maybe, but then that's when I started to lift, I guess, after I realized it's not that I wasn't doing anything, because I never went into the gym because I wanted to look better. Like, I've always been very confident in my body, ever.
I love that.
I never had to go because I was like, oh, I feel like I'm fat, or like I was insecure. Like, obviously everybody has insecurities, but I never went to the gym because I didn't like my body, which isn't, I say not common, but
I don't think that's common. I don't think that's common.
Not common at all. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess like my senior year I played volleyball, and so all throughout high school and middle school I played volleyball. So it was my first time not playing a sport, and I didn't realize that just not being forced to work out was like destroying me mentally. And I have like crippling anxiety, like it is insane because like people look at me and have no clue, or like my social media and nobody has a clue. Like I have the worst anxiety on the planet, and I'm like recently off of medicine, but I don't know. I realized that I wasn't going to get fixed just by taking medicines that didn't actually always make me feel better, or like go out, drink, party, try everything.
Right.
And so once I realized none of that was working, and I realized that I had to do it for me, or like find something that I liked that was going to make me better every single day, it ended up being the gym. And thankfully I have a lot of confidence in the fact that I love my body. Like now I really do, but I don't know. That's when I started to take my health a lot more serious, because mentally I was just not good. Yeah. I did freshman year. I didn't go to class, especially like after Wade passed away. It was such a large thing that happened that all my teachers they got it, but I didn't go to class. I didn't eat well. I barely ate, actually. I ended up being like 111. I think that was the lowest my weight was, and now I'm like 136.
Wow.
So that just shows like a difference in.
Keep going into that part of it, because I think like her story, you don't hear it often.
Yeah.
She actually did the opposite of what a lot of women do. Which you did not need to. Like you
gain
were
weight,
small,
right.
But if you ever follow her on Instagram, which if not, you should. On your transformation, which is it's incredible to see, and like that's hard work. That what you did. So
yeah, and I'd never had a trainer. Like I kind of just based my workouts off of things I saw on Instagram, or like just what I did whenever I played volleyball. Like I probably didn't know what I was doing most of the time, but I figured out what I liked, and I started to lift a lot, which ended up making me feel a lot better. And I realized that like the stronger I felt physically, the stronger I feel like I became mentally, just because it was all mental. Like I had something to look forward to every single day, and like, oh, if I get to, if I have a bad day, at least I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna lift. And sometimes I didn't want to, and like a lot of times being healthy looks a lot different for me. Like I don't always feel like if I go to the gym I'm healthy, because some days suck, and some days if I go to Sonic I'm healthy, because like mentally that's like how I cope with, or that's how my health journey, and that's not good for everybody, but for me I did it not for my look, but for me to just be able to go through every single day. And it looks different every day, but I'm still figuring it out. But
and you're gonna figure it out for
the rest of your life. I'm 33.
Come, right?
I'm still figuring shit out.
Yeah, my first time, I think, as strange it is, and this isn't like advertising the gym, but I literally stopped my medicine when I started F45.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Oh, I love that. I mean,
we talk about the mental part of F45 all the time. So
yeah, I mean, even the shirt that you're wearing right now, right? Like it kind of originated from just saying some statements, but it's like I think a lot of people come into the gym, whether it's connections with individuals or that connection to the gym or the workout, the music, the environment, all that stuff, right? And you walk out there in a better place mentally. And there is actual science, right? BDNF and like all the different things that help your brain like through exercise and stuff, but also just that community sense too of like feeling like you belong, feeling like, oh, these are my people and shit like that. Like it goes a long way, I think, too, just for the whole mental experience too.
Yeah, and like I remember my first like gym experience. It's intimidating.
Oh yeah.
So I can definitely feel for outsiders, even going to F45, like this intimidating. You really don't know what you're doing in the beginning. Like it takes some time and learning what you need to do. But I think the big moral of the story is like how much it made you better, just naturally doing something to like give yourself some endorphins.
Yeah.
Figuring out your journey. You're not gonna be perfect in the beginning. Every day is gonna get a little bit better.
Yeah. If I hadn't started working out, I actually don't know what I would have done. Like all the things that they say work didn't. Yeah. And like I don't think it ever would have. I think it really had to do with me changing my mind, because I could have easily woken up every single day and said like I was just gonna stay in bed. But
exactly. Or pick the different substance to numb yourself with or something.
Yeah, and it was hard because like my parents already felt concerned that like I'm in Baton Rouge by myself, so I couldn't call them and be like, hey, I am severely depressed. I actually think that but a lot of people knew, especially my friends, and I think my parents got the vibe. I went home a lot. I stayed at people's house a lot. But that whole year was horrible. And then the pandemic hit, and that's when I locked in, and I probably worked out like 3 times a day.
Nice.
And I gained, I think, like 20 pounds then, but like
Yeah, but look
good
at
weight.
You.
Yeah, I was gonna say good weight.
Muscle,
it was all
yeah.
muscle. Yeah.
And when you were telling me like how skinny or like smaller you were, I was like, no way. And I couldn't picture. Yeah,
110.
Oh my god.
Doesn't it excite? So you're similar mindset as me and Anthony. Doesn't it excite you to know that you just like literally breeze the tip of what you can do? Like you just starting to figure it out and like.
And then, like, I hate speaking publicly, and I'm like, this is another thing that I can just, I'll be able to, in like a couple years.
Feather in the hat, you know what I'm saying? That's it.
But it's like your story can motivate people so much more than you even know.
Well, I try with my friends kind of know my story, but a lot of girls are very caught up on, like, the scale number.
Yeah.
And I try if I don't know what I weigh, I never know unless I'm at the doctor. I know now just because I did the little, what's it called? The thing in F45. Yeah. So I know from that, but I never base how I feel about my body off of the number. And a lot of my friends, they could love how they look, but if their number's not what they want it to be, it's the end of the world.
Right.
That's what we talk about all the time on this podcast, like literally every time.
I'm like the mental side of things, and she probably doesn't even know, but you being so unfazed by your body and loving your body through it all is how, like, one main reason why you're having so much good success, because your body is being able to accept the way you're treating it from lifting and the way you're eating, and you're bettering yourself even more so because you're not in your head like, oh my God, I gotta look a certain way. And that's so many people's issues. They don't see any changes because they're in a constant state of stress and right? I mean,
no, absolutely.
So,
and I had I guess, phase where I wanted to, I think, look like some of the Instagram people that lift, but I mean, it eventually happens and you eventually start to like your own process than you like other people's, because I love watching influencers do their thing, but I think I started to enjoy mine more because it was obviously realer and I knew why I was doing it. And obviously you learn why people on Instagram are doing it, but like when you know that you've done it for yourself, or like you know where you've come from, it's a whole different feeling. And I still work out the same way that I used to, but for a different reason. Like just to, I guess, maintain. But, you know, I do have body insecurities, but I know for a fact some days I'm extremely bloated. Some days, you know, I'm kind of like, maybe I shouldn't wear this crop top to the gym, but like I don't know. I think it's
when we find the answer to never having insecurities, you have won the jackpot. Okay, because we all have it.
I feel like it's how you handle them though. Like I shut down. Like Kerri, I feel like you were just so chill. Like,
oh, I appreciate that.
You would have no clue.
Well, I think a lot. I mean, I don't think you don't come off as an like
people
you have insecurities.
Say that too.
Yeah,
right.
So I think everybody, like you said, handles them differently, and I don't know. I think even as life goes on, you learn to handle them differently, right? Or you might not even be aware of certain insecurities, and you just might be masking certain things, right? And it's like, oh fuck, now actually that behavior is because I'm insecure about this.
Or you learn how to live with your insecurity.
Yes,
that's true. Yeah.
So like me being pregnant, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. It's a miracle. It's unbelievable. But I'm insecure. Absolutely, being the head trainer, and
having a
body changing,
size.
Every day it's a struggle, and everyone knows that. We talked about it, but it's just learning how to accept it. And
but you're like the coolest pregnant person I've ever met. Seriously,
I appreciate that. Oh, really?
When you dive into insecurities too, it does something for your personal journey and like all this stuff too, and like awareness of like. You understand yourself so much more. Like if you really study insecurities or your fears or things, like you start understanding, hey, I do this because of this. And then you can like trickle it down to be like, oh, fuck, like all these things kind of correlate and connect and all that. And we even talk about it in fitness, right? My insecurities there, how that affected me.
Well, I think insecurities, you can almost use them like, okay, failures aren't terrible, right? Obviously you learn from your failures. Insecurities, I think we should learn from them as well. If you're not aware of a lot of people like to hide their insecurities. Like, no, I'm gonna sink myself into whatever I'm insecure about and not ever be open about it. I try to be open about it and think about like exactly what you just said about your insecurities to better yourself as a person.
I think I started really realizing that too. So when I was playing baseball, right, it was ingrained in me at 15 years old, take care of your elbow and shoulder. Like, don't let it do that. You can't do this exercise. It was all fear-based. It was like, protect your elbow. Don't get hurt. If you get hurt, your career could be over, right? All these things. So literally the last 3 years in F45, I'm reprogramming all these movement patterns that I realized were protecting my elbow and shoulder, but were leading to compensatory issues that led to injuries. But they also led to insecurities because I didn't even know why I didn't want to do a pull-up in front of people, but it was because I knew I couldn't fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I wanted to grab it, it was like, no, I don't think my back can like do this movement, you know? So it like didn't even allow me to go to a fitness setting or a gym in front of people or work out with teammates and things like that because like fears, you know? And so once you start realizing, oh shit, it was just because of that. And you know what? I'm going to look kind of stupid here when everybody else is doing pull-ups and I'm just hanging, you know, or I'm just stabilizing because I need to actually build up this muscle to activate this muscle and shit. It's like, that's not that big of a deal, you know?
Yeah,
like,
but look at you now.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying is you break free from that shit and you're like, my confidence has never been higher in my whole life. Like,
I think when you accepted your insecurities is when you grew tremendously.
I wasn't scared to ask you for help anymore. I wasn't scared to, I think the biggest thing for me is I thought people looked at me as this superstar, right? And like, whatever, like, blah, 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 Anthony, so whatever. Like my young self, you know? Right. And then once I realized like, it's not like that. People don't think or care, like, right? And if I could do different things and learn different ways and even show my human side, it actually connects with people more, you know?
Right.
So
I mean, at the end of the day, it is you and you only, right? And it's your journey. Nobody else really matters.
It's weird though, because like I wouldn't think that about you. Obviously, I know you well now, but I definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, and it's like it's funny how that goes because I've learned to mask it, or I've learned how to, or I'm more confident in other areas, right? And I'll lean in that and do that. But there's always things that I've been learning about myself and things like that too, that I was like, holy shit, I didn't even realize I thought like this, you know what I'm saying? And it's nuts. So
they all intertwine with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. I never walked in the gym and felt, I guess, insecure. I would say I didn't ever feel like I couldn't do anything, but when it comes to like running it or being in control, but
and that's gonna come.
Yeah, that'll take time.
Yeah,
I think we're, even as head trainers and owners, we were the first time we're like, all right, this is our thing.
Yeah.
Huh? We're coaching these people. Yeah. We got 30 people here just looking for us, you know, for the answers and stuff.
And even me now, I remember when I first started out and I was her age, saying, man, all these people I'm around are so well groomed, they are experienced, and I'm just here like, who's gonna listen to me? And I never, like, time goes by fast. Okay, my gosh, it's like flying by. But now that I have some years under my belt, I'm not gonna stay here though. I still am looking to grow.
Right.
So like there's always constantly, I don't know everything. And I'm probably not gonna know everything in 10 years, but I think that's the beauty of it, especially for you starting out. Like every year that passes, you're just gonna get better and better and better. Yeah. Same for me, even though we're almost 10 years apart. Oh my gosh.
We are.
Almost. Man.
And you told me,
you
and I talked and you were telling me how like, when I told you how nervous I was and you told me that it was just like, I guess, playing a game. I was always pretty nervous before a game, but it was something I felt like I could do. And it's not like it's not anything that I feel like I can do, but whenever I wasn't as confident playing volleyball, the nerves then compared to whenever I was like a senior and I was not top dog, but you know, you were more confident and you're playing. It's a whole different thing. So I think right now I started comparing it to whenever I was freshman team JV and I'm about to throw up before the game, and then senior year I'm just like, it's another game. Like great. For you, it's another day at the gym.
Yep. Right. Exactly.
And I won't lie, like I remember being exactly you and saying,
you always say that. I can't see.
That's why she reminds me of myself so much, and I love it. It's like I'm looking in the mirror and I just can't wait to see what you can do. But I remember being that. I was very timid and shy, and even as a kid I was, gosh, the shot. I couldn't even order a Subway sandwich. Really? Like, I would have to go to my mom and be like, I want a turkey.
No way.
Yes,
really?
And I remember even as an athlete, very great athlete, I was always the, you know, the leader of the tree. The leader, but my coaches would always, you need to be more vocal, you need to be more vocal, and it just wasn't my thing. Like, I was always like lead by example. And when I, even like in college, like getting in front of people, I would have never done this. You hear? Yeah. Like, y'all would have to pay me to come sit right here and talk. And I remember whenever I was intern with Traction, and I had no choice. They forced me, and they got me out of my comfort zone. Like, even this was tough in the beginning. Yeah. And now it's just easy. So it's me seeing my growth is.
But even you say you were shy. I'm not. I can talk to literally anybody, but as soon as I have to talk to everybody, I can't. Yeah. It's strange because I really am not a shy person, and I do think I can talk to everybody from all ages, but actually talking in front of everybody. It's weird, but I do like the fact that you say that you were there, because it gives me a lot of confidence, because I'm like, one day.
A lot of growth, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's,
a lot of growth.
When you look back on your whole journey, it's always, you got to remind yourself, like, hey, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm getting better.
Yeah, I also didn't think I would ever have this body. I'm not going to lie. Like, when you start and then when you finish, I'm not finished, but the journey is insane.
What's your next step? What's your next goal?
I don't know. I want to get back into the gym lifting. I've just had so much fun at F45. Like, if I don't come at 8:30, I'm not well throughout the day. Like, and it's mainly because it's like I feel like they're my friends now. I go hang out.
Nobody likes
and I get excited.
Well, just what?
That's why I'm insecure. No, but I have so much fun when I go at 8:30. And obviously, if most people that have been to the gym know, every day is different. So if it's a heavy cardio day, I don't want to go lift, but I do want to get back into the routine of lifting, and I feel like I got a little more weight I want to gain, but we'll see.
What about what do you think? I know we've talked a lot about insecurities and fears, which is good. But what do you think are your biggest strengths and what you bring to the gym?
I think, like you said, I can navigate a vibe. I think that I bring a good vibe. It's strange talking like so highly about yourself, but I do think I bring a good vibe to the gym. I also pride myself in the fact that I can talk to people, whether I used to work with kids, so I used to work at a daycare. And so I was with 3-year-olds all day, and now I'm with people of all ages from like 18 to maybe their 60s. And I feel like I can interact and talk to people the same way that I would, not 3-year-olds, but I just feel like I have a gift of being able to bond with people and make most people feel good, people that I don't even know. Like Miss Sandra, my girl. She told me today, she was like, you make me feel good every single day. You make me feel like I'm 25 again, and that's my girl. Yeah. And she makes me feel good.
I was there with it. I was there for it. That really happened. She's not making it up.
That's my girl.
Somebody
and that should make you feel good, because that's
it did.
true.
I was like, but no, I think that aspect of it, and
that's huge, by the way. So,
but that's what people go to the gym for, right? They're inspired by you, the way you look, your energy, the good vibes that you give, right?
Yeah.
They see you on social media and they want to be like you, the inspiration, you know. So that's where I think you're exactly.
What I always tell you, I'm like, the things you can't teach are the ones that are good trainers, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna become a good trainer. They have got a lot of good trainers out there, but that part of it, being able to bring that is, I think, one of the most important things, and I will say that forever.
And I had someone text me. It was Catherine that does the picture. She knows somebody in the gym, and they texted her about like wanting my body. And this is whenever I'm like freaking out about talking. She was talking about how she wants my body, and that I think I come off maybe in the gym as a little bit intimidating, maybe just because people maybe see my body as what they want their goal to be, but it's strange that people come in and want my body, but I'm sitting there about to throw up trying to talk in front of them. Like they love me, but it's just weird how your mind works.
And I think that's normal for in the fitness industry. As a trainer, you look a certain way. Yeah. First thing, people may be intimidated by you, but you open it up, just like talking about what you talked about today, and continue to do that in the gym. Yeah. That'll go away for sure. Yeah.
But that's why people listen too, right? You don't want to ever set out an intentional intimidation factor. But the reason that they walk in, they're like, damn, this is a trainer? All right, here we go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like an instant respect thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a good thing. And that's the skill set that I think we all bring to the table too, right? Is like, we might physically be intimidating. People might make their minds up about us on social media before they walk into the gym. But then the second they walk into the gym, the way we make them feel and we put down that intimidation barrier, that's why I encourage you to go talk to people all the time. Because like people are going to make their mind up and you're just like, bro, I'm a homie. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that makes them feel like, oh, fuck yeah, like this is my place.
Looks like that Auntie's cool.
She's cool.
God
Win.
damn.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, even me, I'm being honest with you. I don't want to say it was an intimidation factor, but I think I made up stories in my head based on other coaches' kids and pretentious. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah, and that's why I actually asked Kerri a couple weeks ago, what was her, I guess, initial thought about me? Because I think when you do think of a coach's kid, that you might think they're stuck up or
pretentious or all this.
And I always wondered that because I didn't realize that is the vibe I could possibly give off until, I guess, after my dad was the coach. I was like, wait, did people think of me as, I don't know. That's why I was wondering your first. And then I'm sure I got introduced to you as her dad used to be the LSU basketball coach. So it was probably like, oh, she probably thinks she's the shit. She's this and that. But
you being aware of that is great. But I told you, You gave off good vibes.
Okay, good.
So I was a fan of you from day one.
Right.
Good.
And I was too, and it was literally just my experiences as a human. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like other people have experiences. Some people might have just always met great coaches' kids and been like, no, Jill's going to be awesome, just like every other kid, you know? That's not been my case. I've met a lot of coaches whose kids are shitheads, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I remember going to the first meeting with you, and I was like, all right, let's see how this goes, you know? But then as soon as we sit down, you're like, oh, this is a breath of fresh air. This is nice, you know what I'm saying? So it's good.
That's my favorite kind of people.
Yeah.
Is whenever, you, for instance, like I knew you from when you played, but I remember that first meeting we went on.
For F45?
F45.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck Anthony Renato. Like,
I know.
He played ball. Like I was very intimidated. I was just like in my shell, like, you know, but it's like, dang, nicest dude ever. What? I love that. Yeah. Being able to show me otherwise, that you don't have to be scared of me or.
Right. People that leverage that shit is to me weak. You know, I don't want to, like, I just think that's weak.
So I think that if you have that, like if someone's intimidated by you just because of you're Johnny Jones's daughter, you can't control that part. But what you can control is the way you are to them when you meet them.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, there's still people that just don't like me, but it's not like everybody likes me. But I think that that's not gonna be the reason that you dislike me because I'm, you know, someone's daughter or it's never, you know, I don't know. I think that everybody has people that dislike them, but
hey, you can't worry about those people.
Yeah, but I feel like it could obviously be worse, but I think that I prided myself in being a good human being outside of who my parents are, because I think I would act the same regardless. And I know people from LSU. I don't know many coaches' kids, but a lot of the coaches' kids I know are very down to earth, and you would think one way, and I think that's because of the way that people view LSU sports here, that it's, like I said, their lives. But, you know, I look for other things outside LSU sports to enjoy, and a lot of people don't. And I guess people think that, you know, people here are rock stars through LSU, and like people see them as famous. I genuinely don't. And it's strange because people, you know, see coaches and even players. Like I think players are very talented and should be very well known, but like seeing kids or coaches as celebrities has always been kind of strange to me. So I think that people are supposed to, or people think that I think that I'm a celebrity's daughter, and I don't.
And you don't? Okay.
Like if I were to meet, I don't know, say like Michael Jackson's daughter, like obviously that's a celebrity that I would think, but that's just not how our minds work. But I think that other people's minds, like you said, trick them that we're one thing, but to us we're not. So I think that
it's all about your experience. You've experienced things differently than other people, right? And I think the word celebrity is like literally, I hate using that word. I'm not even kidding. Like, I try at all costs not to use that word in general, talking about other people, because to me, people are just people. And it's like people watch people, people follow people, that kind of stuff. That's just natural. That's life. That's human nature and stuff. But like to give somebody power or I don't even know what you would call it, right, over you or something, to say they're a celebrity. And it's like, what? They're just a human. They do something great or cool, or they're good at what they do, or they're good looking, but they're still like you and me. We have all the same, we were born in the same way, the same humans, you know, same species, all this stuff. So I was like, I like hearing that, because I think people like hearing that too. So that way, you know, like I said, they can make their minds up and think one thing, but the way that you see people is really important, you know? Right. I love it. Yeah. Hey, real quick before you go, you want to hear my fitness journey?
I really do. I was waiting on you to tell me.
Yeah, so I think you'll laugh at this. I don't think I've ever told you, but my whole life growing up, my brother and I would always rag on my dad. This is going to be, I don't know if I might get in trouble for this, but we would rag on my dad for having man boobs all the time. We're like, bro, you're like, he would have like jacked legs, right? And he would have a beer gut and then man boobs. So we'd be like, we'd always be like, bro, we got to get rid of these. We got to get you in the gym, run something. We got to get rid of these. And so that was our whole life, our inside joke with my dad. And then 17 years old, I stopped growing. Like my whole life, I was always growing, right? So 17, I stopped growing, and I was still eating the same way. And my eating habits were terrible in high school. My parents, I don't even know what kind of parenting it was, but it was terrible, terrible eating. And I went from like 210 pounds to 248 pounds my junior year. And I remember the summer going into before my senior year, I was at my girlfriend's house. And I stepped on a scale, and I was like, damn, I'm 248. I was like, I'm getting big. She was like, yeah, you're getting big, and you're getting some man boobs too. When I tell you the fucking fear that went through my body of like from that moment on, health. Like I went from 248 that summer by tip off of basketball season. So the day after Thanksgiving, I was 210 again. I lost 38 pounds from June, like that junior, which is probably not healthy, but in 4 or 5 months, I lost about 38 pounds, and I had a 6-pack. Like that was when I started lifting and like eating healthy and diving into nutrition and all that shit. But it was just because my girlfriend said I was getting man boobs.
But eating and working
I never told you that?
No,
oh my
that's
God,
great.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So you changed eating and working out, or you just
everything? Like so for example, again, I love my mom and dad, and they're never going to listen to this, or they don't even know what a podcast is. But I question their parenting. My mom would make dinner, like a normal dinner. I would crush it. And then I'd be like, guys, I'm still hungry. And they'd be like, okay, like go find something. I'd go in the freezer. You know Totino's pizza rolls?
Yeah.
My mom would go to get the economy bag. I would make 90 of them after my dinner and eat them, right? I would finish that, go take a shower, and then we'd be watching TV, and they would let me make a half a gallon of ice cream that I would just crush.
Oh, God.
Or Oreo, a whole sleeve of Oreo. This is like my portion size at a time. I would just eat a sleeve of Oreos at a time. Then I would take the Chips, or I would take Chips Ahoy cookies, jam them up into a cup and pour milk on them and just eat them out of the cup. I'm like, Mom, Dad, did we look at nutrition labels? Did we know what we're doing here? You just my mom literally was like, well, you were playing basketball all the time. I just thought you'd be burning it off, like you were fine. I was like, Mom, look at me. Like I was pudgy and fat. I had acne all over my face.
Were you actually like,
I was pudgy like my junior year. So
I can never see it.
I cannot.
My freshman, sophomore year, I was pretty thin. Like I was still growing. My freshman year, I was 6'4". Then I grew to 6'7" my sophomore year. Then I was 6'7". I've been 6'7" the rest of my life. So I had those eating habits sophomore into junior year. And by junior year of basketball, and especially baseball, when I didn't run as much, your boy's big. I was thick.
Big?
But I never worked out, so I was like soft. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was just.
I just can't see you being anything but like tall and skinny.
Yeah, but I love this story so much because he is one of the most disciplined, healthiest, and it's like very inspiring, like to see like how you are with your body and the way you are, and that you weren't always that way. So there's hope for everyone who has bad habits.
It was bad, and then so basically I just literally started like this was when computers were pretty new, and I remember in freshman it was my going into my senior year. So I had like a computer and I was just Googling articles of like how to eat better, all these my parents didn't know shit. Right. So I literally went down with a grocery list to my mom. I was like, Ma, I need this stuff. Like I'm going to LSU next year. I want to get drafted. Like I want to lose weight and I want to get better and stuff. And so I need all this stuff. She was like, okay, we can do that. And so they went and bought me healthy groceries, and I made my lunch every day my senior year because my mom used to make my lunch. And this is how bad it was. My mom would make me lunch and I would eat the chips and the fruit roll-ups and shit and throw everything else away, and then I'd go buy ice cream and pizza at the lunch at lunch, and like that was. And then after that, my senior year, I ate 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I remember I switched from like regular chips to baked chips. Remember those things? Yeah. But it was like little things like that I was learning along the way. And then I started eating 6 meals a day when that was the big thing of keeping your metabolism going, all that stuff. And then I ate the same thing in college, like every single day.
Yeah, my husband used to literally say, Anthony's eating it, I'm eating it. I ever tell you that?
What?
Joey, whenever he went to LSU, whatever Anthony ate, he ate. Joey was on his own journey. No, he's like, Anthony's healthy. So whatever he ate.
I would write meal plans for people.
Yes.
Like their
and
girl.
Joey would just follow.
I remember Matty Ott, he was one of our closers and stuff. His girlfriend at the time was like running for Miss Louisiana, and he was like, dude, I'll pay you to write her a meal plan for the next 3 months. And like, I would literally write people up meal plans. Micah Gibbs let me do. Huh?
Will you still do that?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. You can write me a meal plan.
Wait, I want to ask you this. If you can remember, so you obviously knew you were going to be good and go to college junior year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you started eating healthy, did your performance change?
Oh, yeah. Completely. So my junior year, I was good, but it was like I just couldn't move very well. I wasn't like I was 6'7" my junior year.
Right.
I didn't have one. I had one dunk in a game. And I played, I was the best player or whatever, right? My senior year, I came back, I had like 40 something dunks. So I was like way more athletic. I was lighter. I'm like, no joke. That's what I remember. That's exactly what I remember, being like, holy shit, I jumped so much higher. I'm lighter. Like I feel just more explosive and stuff like that. So that was the biggest thing for me, is I just felt quicker, fast twitch. My velocity for baseball was it probably ticked up, a couple miles an hour,
Wow.
Yeah, so it definitely but it was more for basketball for me. It was where I noticed the difference of like, damn, I'm like, I can jump and like it's nice now. Yeah. So
if she hadn't said anything about your appearance, did you feel gross? Like, did you not even know you felt?
I didn't even know. I had no idea.
You didn't feel gross?
No, I didn't.
Or you didn't know you felt gross?
I didn't like acne. I had acne really bad. Yeah. And I remember like seeing pictures and being like, man, my face looks kind of round. Like I remember being like, oh, and my mom would always say, oh, you got chubby cheeks, you know, like you got chubby cheeks. And I'd be like, I just never thought anything of it. Yeah. And honestly, my whole life I had a six pack, like going up until my junior year, I had a six pack. I just never even like thought about it. That was a good thing, bad thing. Like it was just normal, whatever. Right. And then, yeah, my junior year just wasn't there anymore. And I just didn't think twice about it. Like, yeah, it was crazy.
God, I had no idea.
I never heard this story. Well, I've never heard this story.
Yeah. I thought I told you that.
This is great. Yeah. This is the best story you've told.
So I thought you'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
Everybody starts their fitness journey different.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
And my family eats bad. Like we were Italians in New Jersey. Like we ate bad. Like diabetes literally like killed my grandmother. Like, yeah, like eating healthy was not a priority in our family. So
I guess you don't even realize that you do. Like you grew up eating pretty healthy, huh?
Yeah, I've talked about it before. We grew up, my papa had farming and just crops and everything. So I grew up on home cooked meals. Yeah. Like rice, potatoes, beans, meats. So yeah, but we were so active too. But I didn't get into like healthy, like strategically eating. I would just, we were so active and I ate good growing up. But probably until like college, we had like big chips, not the regular chips, which you thought was health.
Right, but that was the marketing that we had at the time. Right? Yeah, it was
Googling things. I mean,
I remember I got so into supplements too, like Googling supplements. I was so obsessed.
I loved it. I used to when I was in college, when I first started getting like not obsessed. I guess
I was obsessed.
A little obsessed,
with working out or
both, like the whole journey. Learning lifts and this and that. I would in class. I hated going to class. I like to teach myself, so I would just go. So I'm in the gym, Googling diet plans on how what's the proper way to like how you're supposed to eat, the 6 meals a day, all these different things, and I would write them up. I wish I could find that notebook that I had because I would love to go back and see how far I've come. But that and like workouts. Yeah. But yeah, that's where I started with it all. Yeah. I mean, you gotta start somewhere.
It does 100%. Become an obsession though.
It's a good obsession, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could be obsessed with way worse things and things.
Right. It is, but then sometimes it'll consume you. Like sometimes I felt not down on myself, but I felt like I couldn't go do something until I worked out, or I wasn't hanging with my friends or drinking until I did something. But I got kind of over that. I still kind of have that in me, like, oh, I have to do this, or if I don't work out Monday through Friday, do Monday through Thursday, I have to do Sunday.
I definitely have.
And
so
sometimes it makes you. I think that's a way of like being disciplined. So that's a good thing.
Sure. Yeah, as long as it's not like an unhealthy obsession.
Yeah, as long as it's not becomes obsessive compulsive or anything, it runs your life. But
literally, I know. Dang, look at our stories, huh?
Yeah, right.
Far we've come.
See, this wasn't so bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
You killed it.
I know.
Now everybody knows you.
Right.
Now you're gonna kill.
And
every
also,
inch
if they don't know, you got 3 months T minus.
Oh yeah.
What? She's gonna take a majority of my
that's right. Yeah.
classes. So
I'll be the new Kerri.
They're gonna see big Jill most of the day. I don't know why.
Big Jill.
Big Jill.
I don't know where I was going with big, but
I like it.
Big was
big. I'll be doing big things.
Big things. That's it.
That's
do not get Phoenix.
That's good.
But yeah, so I'm excited. I really am.
Me too.
And I'm excited to get back and do this thing together too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, I tell you, post Kerri.
Oh yeah, because I literally don't know non-pregnant Kerri. I've never met a non-pregnant Kerri.
That's right. She's a badass. She's a beast.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
And she's fun. Yeah.
I'm excited for her to come back too.
Yeah, that's good.
I can't wait.
You know what else I'm excited for too is I'm excited to see you continue to develop. I think you do a great job being, I know it's going to sound corny, but an influencer. And like, to me, influencers are educators, right? For real, right? You're giving people products to try that help you, your healthy lifestyle or workout clothes and different things. So I'm excited for our members, you know, the opportunities that are going to come your way, you know, that you're going to be able to pass on to our members and stuff too. I think it adds a value to the gym that I think will go a long way too. So keep up the great work, that stuff.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Big supporter of things, and I love that.
Yep. Well, Jill, thank you so much. We'll let you get out of here to more important things. You know, maybe go back to the gym, start training.
Right.
Go practice speaking.
You have afternoon classes today or what?
No, tomorrow.
All right, nice.
I know. We love you though. Yeah. And we're excited for the rest of the world to get to know you and join the fam officially.
We're excited you're here and excited for your growth. Appreciate you.
I know.
Thanks, Renato.
You got it, Jones. Big Jew.